Right, this is Linton the Swarm Vassal, Bellator light heavyweight contender, and you're watching the MMA Crypt Fighting Talk Show.
Hello, Cryptos, fight fans. Gregory Stoney. You're watching my Crypt Fighting Talk Show. On today's show, we have 12-2 Max Griffin, former top 16 competitor. Obviously, lost his fight to about second to get into the house. But since then, Max been on a tear, losing one in probably about 10 fights, so I believe. I'm not got his record up in front of me, but it's roughly about that. Max was in the early stages of his career when he appeared on the Ultimate Fighter 16. But it's Max's last fight that I want to talk about today. He's going off a brutal destruction over David Bulletproof Mitchell at West Coast Fighting Championship 16. That was in January, and Max hasn't fought since then. So I want to talk to Max about that. Mainly, in particular, I want to discuss the promise that Max made to me in the lead up to that fight because I interviewed him. He promised me that if he doesn't fight for the UFC next, he will not fight ever again. So I want to talk to Max today and see if that stands true. But I talked about his fight with David Bulletproof Mitchell there. That was billed, that was titled The King of Sacramento. There's no belts on line. Both have held the West Coast Fighting Championships belts, middleweight, welterweight. They got about 4 or 5 belts between them. They walk around with a big collection. But this was for the title of King of Sacramento. So I wanted to start things off with, is it actually true that you're both from Sacramento and should it have been billed, titled The King of Sacramento? So here we have it, Crypters, Max Griffin.
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. Good times.
So, Max, I mentioned there in the introduction, you crowned yourself King of Sacramento, but there was a lot of argument there whether you was actually King of Sacramento, whether either you or David was actually from Sacramento. Are any of you from Sacramento? Do you just train there? Do you just fight there? What's the story there, Max?
I don't know where he's from, but I know he's been around Sacramento for like a year or two. He just came to Alpha. I don't even know if he's been to Sacramento before that. But I came to Sacramento when I was 4, and I've been here ever since. I was born in Santa Barbara, but I've been raised and lived for 26 years. I've been in Sacramento. So,
do you know how long David Mitchell's been training at Team Alpha Male for?
Probably about 2 years.
2 years. I thought he's been there longer than that for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe time flies. Maybe 3 years.
So do you regard yourself as King of Sacramento?
It was more than him. I mean, the fight was so big because he was the man who he was, got out the UFC, won 8 in a row, tore up Sacramento scene, and so he was a man and I was a man and we fucking settled it. So the card was King of Sacramento, so they gave us that title, instead of the belt, which is fine because it's not about belts, it's, about wins.
The fight, I covered the fight, obviously, pre-fight with you. I interviewed you pre-fight in the lead up to the fight. As time went on, obviously, you did all that stuff with Fight Mike. That was all staged as well, Max. You stitched me up there. You conned me. I believed you and everything. I thought that stuff was legit. At the weigh-ins, it was sort of friendly. I was expecting like a real heated weigh-in, like both of you getting each other's faces. It was actually quite cool. You shook each other's hands. You seem quite respectful of one another. Just how personal was the fight when you got into the cage with David
It was
Mitchell?
personal as shit, man. I mean, it was personal. I was so confident, that's why I was friendly. If you watch the tape, he wasn't friendly. He hit my hand. He wasn't trying to be friends. He had an attitude. I think he tried to flip it on me because he was trying to be all funny the whole time, expecting me to be all pissed off at the weigh-ins. But I've seen how decrepit he was and terrible looking. I laughed, and he still holds a grudge. He still does.
Why did you say that there, Max?
I don't know. He said things, and we went back and forth after that for a while. But I'm trying to be cool with the guy. I don't nothing against him, but he doesn't like being in that building. Last time I seen him, I actually seen him at I think it was the West Coast, the last one. He didn't even want to talk to me. He was acting all sourpuss.
What was he doing? Tell us what he was doing. What was his body language like? Was he like hiding behind people in the crowd and stuff? What was it?
No, he was sitting up front, but I tried to talk to him. He tried to like turn his head, put his head down, not make eye contact. Just not friendly.
Okay. Well, you said it was personal. The fight was personal. Was that your most satisfying victory to date, there, Max?
Yeah. I wish it would have lasted a little bit longer, but I guess embarrassment is better.
You know,
No harm, no foul.
you knocked him down, what, 3 times in the fight? Got the
In
knockout,
43 seconds, yeah.
got the walk-off knockout. Was that your best victory to date, your best performance to date inside the cage?
It was, but I think it kind of hampered me, with that win. Word was I was going to get signed. Hey, beat David Mitchell, because they keep telling me, do this, do that, jump through this hoop, do this, do that.
Who was that at
do all this.
UFC? Is that Zuffa?
Yeah, do this, do that, and then I do it, and fucking, they're bullshit.
So
I think I beat him too easy. I made him look like he was nothing. I should have made it like a tougher fight. It's like they're not giving me credit for wasting them.
So what's the word back from the UFC? Have they said something to you about that fight?
They're playing around, man. They're playing around. I mean, personally, to me, they're playing around. They're still playing the game. I could wait or beat another guy. I just personally feel like they don't like me. I do. I mean, there's guys that I have better records in. There's guys that 40 guys I'm ranked better than. There's guys that haven't fought in 2 years and get signed with like 4 fights. You know what I mean? So their excuses, I don't want to hear them. I don't. I'm done hearing, do this. Okay, I do that. Okay, well, beat another guy. Okay, beat this guy. Okay, we'll sign you. Then I beat him, and you're telling me, you're giving me the runaround. It's like trying to talk to a girl, that dating some bum, and you're there, but I don't know. It's not about being the best, and that's what I'm figuring out. It's not about that. It's not even really even close to even being about that, if you ask me.
So what do you think it's about? Do you think, obviously you mentioned
it's politics, man. I almost I tried to fight Alan Jobin. I almost fought him a couple years ago, and there was some Twitter dialogue back and forth because I want to say his guy got pulled out, and they were looking for a guy about a month ago. And I put it on Twitter like, Alan Jobin, I'll beat you. And he was like, yeah, right. No, you won't. He responded, And it's funny, when he got signed, I almost fought him in RFA and ended up not fighting him. He fought Ricky Legier, got whooped on, and won a split and got signed. And I fought Legier the next guy to fight Legier and put him in a body bag. So it's not about and about that, we asked for that, and they said, I can't fight on the main card, which is, I understand. But don't say I gotta beat someone else. I mean, it's baloney. I beat, even when I got out the Ultimate Fighter, Dana White, win 1 or 2 fights, and we'll bring you back. I won 6 straight against fucking big names. So, it's not. They just talk, man. It's about being in the club and fucking. I don't know.
So where'd you go from here now, Max? Because, well, who is there to fight, really? Because obviously Keita was calling out, he lost, thankfully for you. But where's this to go? Because Tachi Palace fights, I believe that went down. I think it's resurrected again. But are you just going to stick around the West Coast Fighting Championship scene? You said to me that you're not going to fight again unless you are in the UFC. What about Bellator World Series? They're out there. What would you do now, Max?
We're entertaining stuff, I've been watching a lot of Bellator stuff and going to actual Bellator fights, checking it out.
Do you like what they're doing?
And I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job. They've been, getting good ratings, and, you've had a lot of guys moving over to the show. I mean, you get sponsors, you make the same money. So, I can't say, but, there's offers. There's, we're looking at different things, looking at stuff overseas. Just seeing what's out there, and I'm gonna make UFC fucking wish they fucking had me, because I'm gonna eliminate everyone I fight, and it's gonna be a bitch.
It seems like Bellator and the UFC, they picked up previous opponents of yours, or potential previous opponents, but they've always skipped you, so you can sort of see why it's personal there. Before we move on, I want to get your take on the Bellator kickboxing. Is that something else that appeals to you there, Max, too?
Yeah, it is,
It's definitely another option, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I know Bellator, they let you do that, It seems like you have a lot more control. You're not like a little, I can't say, but, it's different. They treat fighters different. I know fighters in both organizations, and, both fighters have different stuff to say about both, and, you cut out so bad. You cut out like some scissors just now.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about David Mitchell. I noticed that you said he's been avoiding you, but you went to dinner after your fight with him. Was it the next day you went to dinner with him? Could you
We
tell
went to
us?
dinner. We went to dinner a couple days later,
Yeah.
and he was being cool. I'm like, you know what? This guy's not that bad. I mean, I'm in a good mood, obviously. I knocked him out. But, you know, we were cordial. I shook his hand. We were eating dinner. We're being cool. And I really thought to myself, like, you know what? He's really not that bad. You know, he bamboozled me. He made me seem like, you know, it's just for the show, just for the fans. He talked shit. I thought it was cool. And then, you know, he's cool. And then the next day, he's putting shit on Facebook how he wants to fight me. And I got lucky. You know what I mean?
Do you think he's a guy who his record makes him out to be a lot better than what he actually is? Because we talked about the holes in his game beforehand, and obviously you did make it look very easy in the fight. And obviously you mentioned that you probably did yourself no favors because you made him look like a bit of a chump, really. When we know he's not, but he does come across like a more of a formidable opponent than what he actually is, in my opinion.
No, he's good. That's the thing, you know, and I really think I made him look bad. So I think I beat him too well, if that makes sense. I made him look like, because even people that saw the fight, they're like, oh, he sucks. It's like, dude, that dude's good. No, you whooped him. It's like, nah, dude, like he's really good. He won. I have to like pump him up so they don't think I beat some like tomato can, you know? Honestly.
What do you make of CM Punk coming over from pro wrestling? Because obviously you're going back.
That gets on my nerves too. I
Yeah,
mean,
because you're going about things the hard way. Obviously, you've been taking high level fights on the regional scenes, etc. Fight your ass off probably about 3-4 times a year if you can, without excluding injuries, of course. And you can't seem to get a break with the UFC. And obviously, they give CM Punk all the time in the world. I understand he's a draw, but do you believe MMA should be more than just about bringing these high profile names and giving them a lot of leeway?
it seems like what the stuff is turning into a fucking sham, you know, and that's why. I mean, CM Punk, okay, yeah, they're gonna make money, make millions for having him on. But what about the opponents he had fight? They had a guy like 1-0 fighting a guy that's fucking like 2-0.
Yeah, what did you
Like,
make
what
of
kind
that?
of shit is that? It's bullshit.
What
It's
did you make of that
bullshit.
Mickey Gall, his opponent? He looks pretty
I don't
legit,
give a
though.
fuck, man. Yeah, still though. Still, if you're talking numbers and fights and you need more fights and this is fucking horseshit. They say certain shit and then they do other shit. You can't trust any shit they say. You know, and that's
So,
where I'm at with it. I'm kind of fed up with it, really.
so you last fought January against David Mitchell now, so we're what 6-7 months nearly into you not having a fight.
Yeah.
You did tell me via message that you've been injured. Could you tell me what the injury was and what's the future now? Are you back into training, etc.? And
Yeah, I'm back.
how soon do you think it'll be sort of before you get things fixed up in terms of your future fighting wise?
Right now, so I tore my right after the Mitchell fight. I felt like I didn't even fight. I was in the gym on that Tuesday. I fought Saturday. I was in the gym. 3 days later,
Yeah.
like it never happened. You know, ready to go. I was training with my jiu coach Jamie Hara, and I did it to myself. But I tore my LCL when I was training. I knew something bad happened. It was like it made a noise. I was like, ah, shit. It felt bad, kind of hyperextended a little bit. It took like a month. If you know how the United States healthcare system is, you have to go to the doctor, get an X-ray, then you gotta wait, then you gotta wait to get prescribed an MRI, and then it takes a month, then you gotta wait 2 weeks to schedule that. It was like 2 months before I could even get an MRI. By the time I get one, I have an LCL tear, my ACL strained, and my meniscus is frayed. So I was like, oh shit, you know. So they put me in a brace. I did rehab for 14 weeks. I mean, I could still train. I just couldn't train with other people. You know, I couldn't wrestle around. I couldn't like have anyone else's weight on me. I had to be real structured in how I moved and trained. And you know, I worked a lot of southpaw stuff, just stuff that I could do. And I want to say, cleared about a month and a half ago. So ever since then, I mean, I've been training like a killer. You know, I'm fucking back in there, trying to get it, make it for missed time. But I just get better, you know. I get better every time, and I'm hungry, man. It's just different. I feel like every time I fight, in general, every day of my life, I'm just a hungrier fighter, and I'm ready to, you know, I'm ready to fuck some fools up, really. Simple as that. Make some money, you know.
Well, you was talking about the Bellator MMA promotion there. Looking at the roster, obviously you got Ben Ensign, Koreshkov, Michael Levin Page, nice up and comer there for you. What do you make of the roster there, the welterweight roster? Obviously, you must have took a look at it and sort of waited. Do you think that you could jump
I
in there
like
right
the
now?
roster. Yeah, the thing with the roster is I'd be pretty good in the roster because my boy Fernando Gonzalez, excuse me, he's like ranked number two
I
to
believe he
number
was. I
three.
believe he was scheduled to fight Michael Levin Page
Page,
in London.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But then Page or no, I think Fernando's like visa was messed up or something. But I mean, I beat him and he's won 6 straight and 6 in a row in Bellator, you know.
Yeah.
So that means something.
Cyborg stepped in. Obviously, he's got a reputation. Not as much as his ex-missus, but he's still got a big reputation in the sport. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's guys there's what's Matt Secor. I fought him in Ultimate Fighter, whooped him, and lost in a triangle. Like 5 seconds left in the fight. He's doing well in there, so he's in there. My boy Chidi
Austria.
Nokajawani, he's in there. So my guys are in there. You know what I mean? And Chidi just did a main card, knocked the shit out this dude like 2 weeks ago. You know, main event. So I'd be right in there. The thing about the UFC, they throw me in the bottom of the barrel because what I think is too, like they don't want me to beat these guys. You know, they don't want me to beat these guys. They got these boys that they're protecting. You know that would get knocked out. They don't want a Versace model to lose. They don't want these guys to lose that they put wins into. They don't want that. And I'm too dangerous of an opponent, and they know that.
Was that a dig at Joban there? The bottle.
Man, all those guys, man. Joe Bond, Brandon Thatch, George Sullivan. I want all these guys, you know? I don't think it's like, man, it's frustrating to me, you know? It is.
So, if you could weigh him up right now, who would you see as the favourite you're going to? Because it does seem like the UFC or Bellator. It seems like Bellator is sort of like leading the way. Your heart's with the
I'd say
UFC, but
Bellator. I know UFC is supposed to come to Sacramento, you know, my hometown in the end of the year. I know that, you know, but I'm tired of doing what they say and then they change it up. We'll win 2 fights. Okay, do that. I win 6 fights. Okay, beat him. I beat him. Beat him. Okay, I beat him. Okay, now beat David Mitchell. Now I beat him. Well, you know what I mean? They keep putting another bone in front of me. Well, do this. And don't say I'm not ready because I'm beating fools that are beating guys that are in there. You know what I mean? Destroying guys that are in there that, you know, so to me it's baloney. So.
well, let's talk about Mexico anyway, Max. I noticed that you just been to Mexico. Can you tell us what that was about?
Man, I went to Cancun, man, with my girl. Amazing. I've never been, you know, out the country. I mean, I've been to Mexico a little bit, Ensenada, but not white sand, not, you know, dolphins, not. It was amazing. Was there for about a week. Beautiful weather. Saw some like pyramids. It was beautiful, man. You know, that's what I feel life's about, doing shit like that, living, not like this day-to-day shit, you know. It's enjoying your life. And that was a nice like reset, you know. Now I'm back in the gym. You know, I didn't train one muscle in my body that whole week, you know. I was swimming. Now it's like a little reset and I'm ready to just start taking names, you know.
If say like Dana White or the UFC matchmakers were listening now, what would you say to them there, Max?
Nothing. I've been doing the talking with my hands for fucking 7, 8, 9, and nothing. Watch me smash these fools in Bell or wherever I go. You know, I feel like they done me wrong. Honestly, personally, you know, tell the truth. You don't like me. Don't say I need another fight when you have guys that have 3 fights and they're signed. You know what I mean? Don't say I need more experience. Plus, I need to be the better guy because I'm beating guys that guys have beat to get in there.
Well, the UFC has a very weird roster, Max. It's like, obviously, when they break into these new markets, they have the main set roster, what fights in like Vegas, etc., or in the States, and then they've got like the add guys to the roster when they break into markets. Like, say they're breaking into Mexico, say they're breaking into the UK, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
China. They had all these fighters, what really ain't that good. But some of the undercard fighters also, I believe that you basically earned your spot more than these guys. So you can
And
sort
I
of.
feel that in my heart. So that's, I mean, you can even look at the MMA Junkie articles, the Bleacher Report. I'm the top guy in 2 years from the United States that's not there. You know what I mean? So just
Yeah.
stuff it's not just me that's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
What do you make of their roster, the way they do things? Obviously, because they have got the talent where obviously they're not really on the stripes. They just sort of get on the UFC roster and on the UFC cards because the UFC are branching out and breaking into new markets. Then obviously you have your main set guys who fight in the States. So what do you make of the UFC's roster? We can sort of understand it, but for guys like you who've really been putting in the time, the effort over the years, and been promised things, and it's not materialised. How does that
Just to
make?
know I'm not there, it's not about being the best because I'm better than a lot of guys in there. So it's not about being the best, you know. When you bring guys in with 2 fights, it's not about being the best. When you bring a guy in that's 8-5,
Yeah.
that's not about being the best. It's about having that guy get beat by one of your other guys that you want to put money into. It's politics, you know.
On your honest answer here, what's your mindset now? Obviously, I talked about your plans for the future with your fights, talking with your coaches, etc. But what is your mindset right now? Because I see that Bellator's it's tickling your fancy, it's sort of catching your eye, but your heart seems with the UFC. But this is your life. You put a lot of effort into it. What was that? 21 amateur fights or something? You've had plenty of amateur fights. You've been a
Yeah.
martial artist all your life. Just you mentioned your holiday there to Mexico. You've had a break. It's been sort of a reset for you. It hit the reset button. But just what are you thinking of when you're on your own? When you go into bed? When you think about your fighting career?
It makes me just think about it different, you know. Like now, I feel like now it's played like played. Oh, we'll do this. Just dicked around. I don't like being, you know, dicked around. Do this and do that. And yeah, I want to fight. Yeah, I'm a fucking fighter. Yeah, I want to fight. I love it. You
Basically,
know, but I'm not gonna do it for no fucking reason.
see, I'm trying to get to a point here without asking the same sort of question. This is the question today on the air, Max. Do you want to retire having never fought in the UFC?
No, but I don't even. It's not about that to me anymore. Is I guess what I'll say.
Yeah.
You know, if I could fight for promotion and make 20, 30 a fight, you know, and be the champion there, hey, you know, we may have bargaining power down the road. You know, they may be like, oh, fuck, now you won. You know, you're the X and X champion. You know, you want to come over here, and then, you know, I have that choice. You know what? I did. You know, I'm the Bellator champion now. Do I want to do? Maybe, you know, maybe I'll stay here. Maybe I'll decline your offer. You know, that's where I'm kind of at. I'm kind of at. You know, I never know, but I'm not gonna. I don't have faith in them. If that's.
So
You know.
it's more about the fighters than the actual brand, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I want to fight. You know, I want to fight. I want to fight the best guys.
Well, there you go then, because you got Benson Henson jumping over. Bellator already mentioned that they're looking to sign all the free agents from the UFC, so you will be getting the best fights over there.
Yeah. I just want to fight. I want to fight the best guys. You know. And if they don't think I should be there, then fuck them. And that's their opinion. You know?
If you have to stay on the regional scene for a little bit longer, how long
I won't
will you
fight.
accept? You won't fight
I
at
won't
all?
fight. No.
Not even one more fight on the regional scene?
No.
So what would you class as not regional scene? World Series of Fighting, one championship, the UFC, Bellator?
One FCs is pretty sick. Bellator. Even thought about maybe RFA or World Series. I don't know though. You know, maybe World Series. It's about the money. I mean, I need 20 plus.
Yeah.
Really. Because I'm offered that now, so why do anything less? So for promotion, I mean, if West Coast would say, "Hey, we'll give you 25," then you know,
That's pretty decent. That's more than what undercard UFC fighters get, even some main card guys.
yeah.
So,
But you send him 10. I mean, if it's 20 or better, man, I'll consider it. And Whatever.
So what would you say to your fans who have been following you pretty hardcore over the years? What would you say to them? What they can expect from you?
Man, I love you guys, man. You know I do. You know I do it for everyone. That's why I'm so frustrated, because we all know where we should be. We're just not there yet, and the next one will be big. Promise you, it will be, and the world will know. You know, they will, and we'll be laughing.
Well,
That's what I got to say to my fans.
Well, that's a good note to end it on there, Max. Okay, Crypters, be sure to check out MMACrypt.com and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And from today's show, guys, as always, thank you for watching.